Ladies and gentlemen, there are 14 teams left in the NFL, and so I'm going to be giving my official playoff predictions. But hey, guys, welcome back. Right off the bat, I am currently visiting my family, so I am in a different room than what you guys are used to, and I am battling a bit of a cold. My voice, as you guys can probably tell, is not at 100%, but the grind never stops. It's one of the biggest days of the year for me, and I'm really excited to get this one out to you guys. Stay tuned for tomorrow as I will have all of my wild card previews as we take a deeper dive into each and every one of these games. Also, we're going to have more prospect spotlights and a lot more coming. So stay tuned if you guys do enjoy the videos. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get right into it, starting off with the first wild card game, which is going to be between the Cleveland Browns and the Houston Texans. Texans get the win against the Colts, and then they got lucky by getting a Titans win against Jacksonville. They get to host the Browns. Really fun matchup. Two teams that played on Christmas Eve, a high-scoring game. What I really have questions about the Texans is going to be their passing defense, a secondary that has been questionable at times. This is a Browns offense that's been pretty high-powered under Joe Flacco, an offensive line that's been pretty solid as well, given the injuries. They're able to run the ball. They got weapons. And on the other side, I really like this Cleveland defense. I think they're going to make life really difficult for C.J. Stroud. I'm going to take Cleveland to get the win and head to the divisional round. Then we got the Chiefs and the Dolphins. I've been saying it for weeks. If you guys have been following this channel, I don't trust this Chiefs team. We saw it today, barely squeaked out a win against the Chargers. This is a Chiefs team that I don't trust their weapons. I don't trust really anything they can do offensively. I don't trust their offensive line. And yet they've got a favorable matchup against Miami, a team that is down a bunch of pieces on their defense. Kansas City should be able to win this game in theory, but I'm not picking them to. I am taking the Miami Dolphins to pull off this upset. Tyreek Hill is going to be playing his first game in Arrowhead since the trade. I think he could be for a big one. These two teams met in Germany earlier this year where the Chiefs got off to a hot start. Miami ended up kind of coming back, figuring things out. I think this is a game where we are going to see a different Dolphins team. They're going to be able to run the football a little bit. I don't think the Chiefs are getting the win. I'm taking Miami here. This could age poorly, but I do think that the Dolphins are going to get the win. Then we're going to see the Steelers and the Bills. Really fun one here for Bills fans. I don't think the Steelers really stand a chance. It looks like TJ Watt could very well miss this game. Looks like he had a grade 2 MCL sprain. On top of that, there's a Steelers offense that, while it's looked better the last couple of weeks under Mason Rudolph, still have questions about, are they going to be able to run the ball consistently? Can George Pickens be consistent? That's the stuff that the Steelers are going to need to figure out. This is a Bills team that has been really, really good the last few weeks. Josh Allen is playing at an MVP level. He's running the ball well. This Bills team as a whole is running the ball well with James Cook and Leonard Fournette getting involved. The defense is doing its stuff. Really, really like what I've seen from Buffalo these last few weeks. I think they, at home, are going to get the win against Pittsburgh. Then we're going to go over to the NFC side of things with Green Bay and Dallas. I'm going to take the Dallas Cowboys. We're going to start from the bottom, go to the top. This is a Dallas team that I really like, what they've been doing, especially offensively. Dak Prescott is not turning the ball over. And while the run game hasn't been exactly what we thought it was going to be with Tony Pollard, the way CeeDee Lamb has played this year gives me a lot of excitement for this team. You're also going up against Joe Barry's defense, which I think you should be able to cook. And Green Bay is a really fun story. I like Jordan Love. I like some of these young receivers. I still think they're a year away from being a year away. This is a lot faster to the playoffs than we thought this team was going to be. Jordan Love has looked fantastic, especially post-Thanksgiving, but I don't think this Packers offense has the firepower that the Cowboys offense does have. So for that reason, I'm going to take Dallas. Then we've got my favorite wild card matchup, and I think a lot of people's most anticipated, between the Rams and the Lions. Now, I know Lions fans have been vocal all offseason and all season because I haven't shown them the love they deserve. And I'm going to do it again. I am taking the Rams in this one because I think the Rams are the better team. We've got to look at the defense here for Detroit. Their pass defense worries me. I know CJ Gardner-Johnson is going to be back for the playoffs. This is a Rams offense that is going to scheme guys open. Sean McVay is one of, if not the best coaches in the NFL, and their offensive scheme is really, really hard to stop. I think with Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua, Tutu Atwell, and Kyron Williams, that's four guys there that are going to be really hard to stop on your defense. On top of that, I really like this Rams defense. While they rank kind of in the middle of the pack in most stats, this is a Rams defense that I think has the players to really go deep in the playoffs. They've got that interior with Kobe Turner and Aaron Donald. You've got a pass rush with Byron Young that's been really, really solid. This is a Rams team that I really, really like. I'm taking them to upset the Lions on the road and head to the divisional round. And then we've got the Eagles and the Buccaneers. And this is a matchup that I really hate because I feel like if Tampa's fully healthy, if Baker Mayfield is fully healthy, that Tampa can get this win. But I'm not sure the health, and I am going to take the Eagles mostly based off of performance. This is an Eagles team that over the last few weeks I've been incredibly disappointed with. Their defense can't stop anybody, but they get a favorable matchup, and they're going to go up against a backup quarterback, or not a backup quarterback, but a banged-up quarterback, I should say. And this is going to be a really fun matchup, I think, on Monday Night Football, but ultimately it doesn't really change my opinion. I am taking the Eagles in this one. If Baker Mayfield's at 100%, I do think that the Bucs will win this game, but I don't think he is. So we're taking the Eagles, and we're going to move on to the divisional round where there are now 8 teams remaining, and we're going to start on the NFC side of things this time. And with the Eagles and the Cowboys, they played twice this season. We saw them split the season series, but as the season has gone along, we have all seen who the better team is, and that's the Dallas Cowboys. I think this is the year Dallas gets past the divisional round. They're at home. They have a defense that is going to be really, really hard for Jalen Hurts to throw the ball against. This is a really good passing defense. They've got a pass rush, and their offense is going to really find ways to get guys open. And we saw it earlier this year. This is an Eagles team that has really struggled to cover anybody. I think that the Cowboys can easily win this game. I don't think that the Eagles are Super Bowl bound. I think the Cowboys are headed to the NFC Championship game. Then we've got the Rams and the 49ers. Now, this is a game that I think is going to be a lot closer than people think, and I think it's going to be a really fun one. Kyle Shanahan historically has the upper hand on Sean McVay in the regular season. In the playoffs, it actually favors Sean McVay. This is going to be a matchup between two offensive geniuses in Sean McVay and Kyle Shanahan. Really interesting stuff. I think there's going to be a lot of chess play here, moving parts. You look at this offensive line for the 49ers, pretty great offensive unit. You got that right side, which has been a little questionable. The defensive line for the Rams, also a little question, or the offensive line for the Rams, while it's been better this year, can be up and down, a little inconsistent. You look at the offenses, I kind of trust the weapons outside of Christian McCaffrey of the Rams a little bit more. I'm taking the Rams in this one. I think that the Rams are going to get it done. I've been saying it. I think that the Rams are bound for at least the NFC Championship game. There's a Rams team that's going to be really hard to stop. A secondary in San Francisco, which has been a little bit iffy all season long. Outside of Charvarius Ward, I think it could cause some problems. I'm taking the Rams. I think the Rams are going to the NFC Championship game. Then we've got the Bills and the Browns. Look, I like what Josh Allen has been able to do. He has not played a defense like Cleveland yet. They're going to be in his face, pressuring him with Myles Garrett, Zadarius Smith in that front seven. And their secondary might be the best in football. I'm taking Cleveland here. I think Cleveland is the better team. I think their defense is elite. I think they're really going to make life difficult. I think Josh Allen could turn the ball over, and an offense that I think could really get things going as well. If Joe Flacco can take care of the football, I could see a world where Cleveland could go all the way. We'll see what ends up happening, but I do have the Browns advancing. Then we've got the Dolphins and the Ravens matchup that we saw just in Week 17. And Miami got destroyed, and I think it's going to happen again. Maybe not a blowout necessarily, but this is a Ravens team that I think is too good right now that they're just not going to lose this game. They've got a run game, they've got a pass game, and they've got a defense. And a Miami team that, while I think they can have a really solid game against Kansas City, you're going to go into Baltimore in a colder environment, going up against a defense that's going to be everywhere. And I think defensively, they just don't have the pieces to match up against this Ravens offense. We're taking the Ravens, which is going to set up for a very interesting championship weekend as we got the Browns and the Ravens and the Cowboys and the Rams. We're going to start over on the AFC. We've seen these two teams play twice this year. A split season series between these two. Deshaun Watson had a huge comeback earlier this season against Baltimore. And Baltimore is a better team than they were at that point. They've got the firepower to score quickly with Zay Flowers and the way their offense has been playing, and their defense is going to really fly all over the field with their linebackers and their secondary. I like this Ravens team, and for the same reason, I like this Browns team. Defense is going to be everywhere. It's going to come down to the quarterbacks for me and the offensive weapons, and I trust Baltimore's weapons more. I think they've got a better consistent running attack. I like Jerome Ford. Don't think he's your consistent back. I think the Ravens are going to be representing the AFC in Vegas at the Super Bowl. I just can't bet against this Ravens team. And then we got the Cowboys and the Rams. Look, it's a Cinderella run for the Rams, a team that was expected to be one of the worst in the NFL. I think that they have a really, really solid chance to get back to the Super Bowl 2 years later. They've matched up really well against some of the best teams in the NFL all year long. These two teams met earlier with no Matthew Stafford, and the Rams kind of got destroyed. I think it's going to be a different matchup. A defense for the Rams, where I do have questions about their secondary, haven't really had to play an offense like this since you had the shootout against Detroit earlier in the playoffs. This is a Cowboys offense that can light it up really, really quickly. I like the run game as well. I think this is a game where Kyren Williams is going to have a big one. Dallas, on the other hand, passing defense, you got to feel pretty good about. You got to feel good about your pass rush. You're going to be able to make life difficult for Matthew Stafford. I'm going with the experience here. I'm taking the Rams to win the NFC. I think they're playing some of the best football in the NFL right now. I think their defense is going to be able to create a couple of big plays in this one. And I'm taking the Rams to go to the Super Bowl, which gives us a matchup between the Ravens and the Rams, two teams that we saw earlier this year in a very close matchup. And I am going with the Baltimore Ravens to win the 2024 Super Bowl. I think they've got the best quarterback in the league right now, a defense that's playing really well, an offense that I think has all the pieces in the world. I love what this Rams team has done this season. I think they're going to really surprise some people in this playoff run. This could age poorly if they lose to the Lions, but I think that they're going to go to the Super Bowl, play the Ravens, and Baltimore will be your 2024 NFL champions. That's going to do it for me. Let me know down in the comment section. Who do you guys have going and winning the Super Bowl? Would love to hear your thoughts and comments below. Leave a like, subscribe if you are new, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Adios.